Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's showtime. Hi guys, I'm back. Again, and back again. Oh, sorry. To Dune. Do we have a random button? Let's use that as our starting point. Average. I'm just going to be so average in most ways. Age. Well, let's be honest. I'm ancient. Sure, those all look just fine to me. What are these new hairstyles? Don't know. Now, you see, I actually see people wearing this. And as someone who's familiar with history, I look at this and that's the Hitler Youth. Granted, that's 80 years ago. But that's a hairstyle when I was growing up that pretty much meant Hitler Youth. That's a bit much even for me. Okay, we'll go bald. I know it's an incredible shock that I would do that. But here we are. Silver white. Eyebrow color. You gotta be an old man. You know? That's just the way it is. Eyebrow details, beard style. Now that's a little bit too. That's better. That's better. Beard color, of course. They don't have glasses. They added some new cosmetics, I know, too. I don't recall exactly tats. A few tats, I think. Some other stuff. We're going to go without any tats. Although the tats that we don't have will be really old. Any new scars? No, they did not give us any new scars. No eyeshadow, no eyeliner. Did I miss the part where we had like eye color? Yeah, I did miss that. Yeah, sort of a steely blue. I think we're done. I'm going to skip the opening tutorial because I have done it before. If any new players are out there and want advice, I will be glad to give it, but I'm going to skip the opening tutorial sequence. I do recommend the locked. Pardon the yawn.
Have they told you what I am?
Yes.
Then I will sift your words for lies. Let's begin. Where were you born?
Let's see, where was I born? I'm an Imperial flunky.
The heart of the Imperium. The heart of civilization. There is always work to be done. And millions like you to do it.
You
had a mentor in your youth, trained by one of the schools.
I clicked through by accident.
Who was your mentor?
My mentor was a sword master.
From the failed house of Ginaz, I assume.
Yeah, come on.
What a
Don't rub it in.
that whole affair was. The test is almost complete. Have you spoken truth?
Would I lie?
Come here. Kneel.
Hello there.
Put your hand in the
Good
box.
morning to afternoon to evening. Whichever applies. Still morning for me.
I hold at your neck the Gomjabar, the high-handed enemy. Don't pull away or you will die. Great plots are afoot in the Imperium, and the currents of intrigue run deeply.
I'm not afraid.
Arrakis is the key, and the Fremen are missing.
All right, we misplaced the
You will go
Fremen.
to Arrakis as our agent, prisoner. You have one task.
But which
Find
140?
the Fremen. Wake the sleeper.
AM or PM?
Everything depends on this. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. Remove the pokey thing.
Good. You speak truth. But here is the rest of it.
Note, I have a
There is
glowing
only one
VI
rule.
on my cheek.
Keep your hand in the box and live. Withdraw it and die. An animal would gnaw off its own hand to escape the pain. And we can only be served by humans.
Great.
Find the
Supposed to be
Fremen.
pink.
Wake
It shows up as pink in my
You will know when it is
Streamlabs
done.
desktop. So I'm skipping the tutorial. On account of I've done it a dozen times. Now, granted, me being me, I probably have forgotten how to play. Pardon the yawn. Why it's gray for you? Maybe the setting is to randomly change, but if you're used to it being pink, it shouldn't have changed. Should it have? I don't know. Oh, this is new. We have the new treadwheel vehicle. They've patched in some new content and stuff into the game.
Get up, Off-Worlder. I couldn't wait for you. But now you need to run.
I need to
The
run.
sandworm is coming. Run! Now!
I'm running! And there's Shai Hulud. A little midday snack for the worm.
You made it, Off-Worlder. Catch your breath. When the Thopter went down, the storm took us far off course.
It was actually
That is
on
I need to lay low and
HBO
treat it
again
before it
last
gets
night.
worse. But
I
fear not,
actually own it, but
Off-Worlder.
I'm a
Not
big fan of the
tracking cover
movie,
ground between us with little
of Denis
effort.
Villeneuve's work in
She will
general.
be my eye in the sky so I can continue to offer my sage advice and keep you on this side of the grave.
And just recently reread all the
Figure
books,
out how to
so
craft yourself some
kind
clothing.
of a fan.
That Mauler outfit won't cut it out here.
Alright, I need to get plant fiber. Yeah. Whoops. I don't want to fight these guys yet. Later. Yes, the original book came out in 1964, I think. Okay, I am in bad shape here. Got it. All right. Wasn't expecting to aggro bandits quite that early, and where the hell is some of the fiber? I've got to find fiber to make a better outfit and make freaking bandages. Alright, that is a cave we definitely don't want to go into. And after the success of the first novel, Frank Herbert wrote 2 more. Oh, there we go. No, that's not it. And then later on, added 3 more, and then his son continued the series. It took me a half a dozen times to get into the first book, which is, a classic of science fiction. It can be a bit thick to start. Oh, if I managed to end up in the only place without any freaking... There we are. Fiber. Alright, we've got enough fiber. Oops, that's another little batch of bandits and stuff. Alright, so we can now research makeshift clothing and craft makeshift clothing. As I said, I am a big fan of Denis Villeneuve's work, and I think his Dune series is extraordinarily good. Equip.
The War of Assassins has left debris scattered all over this sector. Salvage metal from the wreckage with your cutter ray, and use it to make a Mauler pistol and darts. Don't let the Imperial disdain for ranged weapons lead you astray. Very few people are foolhardy enough to use shields this deep in the sands, and that is to your advantage.
Alright, research the Mauler pistol. And darts. Craft Mauler pistol. And darts. Let's make more than we need, because we'll need them sooner or later. Research a respawn beacon. Good afternoon, your dudeness. Craft a respawn beacon. Place the respawn beacon.
This used to be Fremen territory, but the War of Assassins and the Sardaukar pogrom put an end to that. Now the sector is crawling with scavengers.
Research
fighting
the
over
binoculars.
scraps of Imperium technology left in the wake of this so-called noble war.
Make
But that's to your advantage,
binoculars.
Off-worlder. Allow them to do the hard work of gathering the salvage, and then take it from them. Don't hesitate to kill them all.
Scout for a
They would do
scavenger
the same
camp.
to you.
Say... There? Yeah, there. We won't be needing these again for a long time, if ever. All right. I have an ability, because I'm a sword master, and it's a really good one for starting.
There's someone here.
Yes, there is someone here.
It's obvious you've had some training, off-worlder.
That was
but
it.
Nothing can truly prepare you for what the desert has in store. Hone your skills and harden yourself to the violence you must do to survive. Remember, Arrakis will sharpen you or kill you.
Possibly both. Open the skills menu. Skills. As a blade master, I know the knee charge, which is what I just used, and now I will learn deflection.
Without a still tent, you're easy prey to the sandstorms that sweep across the desert. Those storms tear flesh from bone and shred metal like paper. Unless you'd like to share a cave with some scavengers, your best bet is to build your own shelter. Build a construction tool and place out a sub-fief console. You'll be claiming a portion of the planet's surface for your very own, or rather borrowing it from the Emperor. I'm a little hazy on the specifics.
I need to make myself some bandages. Crafting dumbass. Oh, hey, how about... Well, we can only make 3. Let's make 3. Heal kits. Technically not bandages, but, well, you know. Because we're currently wounded. I'm feeling much better now. Okay, well, not much better, but, you know, a little better. Granite. It's a good crafting material, but you really shouldn't take it for granted. Oh, God, it just never ends, does it? Good, good, good. Alright, we now have our 150 granite stone. We need some more salvage metal and some more fuel cells. But we will not shy away from grabbing more granite if we happen upon it, like that. We'll also continue to grab more fiber. Is that the fuel cells taken care of? Not quite yet. Oh, fuel cells about to be taken care of.
I see someone. I require backup.
They made me do it. I can't really justify that statement, truth be told. New icons. Ooh, new icons. More salvage metal. Okay, there. That thing over there, the glowy thing in the distance, is sort of a central area, and it would be wise to build relatively close to that. Oh, no, I never kill for fun. Only for profit. Or, you know, to defend myself. Or for useful materials like hides and spare change. That is Shai Halud being angry at me. couple 100 meters away on the other side of that rock. I'm about to build my base. But I always prefer, when I'm starting a new character, and you can tell I must have done this a bunch because I actually have a preference, to build relatively close to the trading post. Boot to the head. I sincerely hope they both learned their lesson, which involves something that doesn't lead to me killing them. So, yeah, it's probably a bit late for them to learn that lesson, actually. Never mind. Sorry, guys. Feel kind of bad. Not real bad. Just a little bad. Sort of. Not really, actually. Yeah, never mind. I'm fine with it. It's good. It's good. Okay, we will research the basic construction kit. We will craft a construction tool. We will construct or interact with a sub-fief console. Let's see. That seems pretty reasonable to me.
Congratulations. You are now the proud owner of an Imperial sub-fief. More of a sub-fief. But it's enough for now. Get your construction tool out and get cracking. It's not a shelter without walls and a roof.
Well, it's not much of a shelter without walls and a roof. Oh, that kind of screwed me on that border. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. I can work with this. All right, we have a foundation. We have walls and a door, which is a jar. I'm going to guess ceilings? Roofs? Yeah, roofs. Now, in this case, we're building our roof out of floor, so later we can add a second floor to the building if we want. Move my sub-fief console to a sheltered location. Well, aren't we all a little bit sheltered? Okay, let's see. That is not optimal. Okay, so right, a minor quick rearrangement of things here. Demolish. Demolish. I misdid that. No, I didn't. Let's see. Piece picker. That. We'll go there. Piece picker. That. We'll go there. Construct and interact with a small storage container. Storage. Saw some people built their bases in the air floating somehow. Is that a glitch or the game lets you? You can get away with a lot due to glitching. Generally, you can't build one completely floating. There was a glitch that they fixed that previously allowed you to, in essence, hang the corners of a pentashield, which is basically...
Weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
1 second. A sandstorm is approaching. We would like to not get screwed by not having our home covered with a shield. So... and deposit fuel cells.
The sub-thief console comes with an automatic shield system that will keep your base safe.
So
from
the pentashield basically is just sort of like a force field, right?
The storms will tear at your walls.
If you laid down,
it goes without saying,
the
build on
placement
sand.
for an item,
Seal
a
your
wall,
base,
say.
Off-worlder.
Even if you
Maintain
didn't
good
build
water
the
discipline,
wall, you
and
could
it will
hang the
keep you
corners
alive.
off of that.
You've done well
And so you
licking
could, in
flowers
essence,
and sucking
create
sap,
a floating
but you
force
need a
field.
consistent source
And people
of
use
water.
that to make
And the
basically
best source
invisible
out here
houses.
is blood. Extract it,
But that got
store
fixed.
it, refine
So
it,
certainly
and
if they
drink
were
it.
using that
Raw
glitch,
if you're
A large
really
sandstorm
desperate.
is approaching.
And don't mind
they could have made
throwing up.
it look that way.
Actually, don't drink it. Unless you really have to.
Sandstorm doing the sector in 1 minute, and we have a safe home. Next up, basic exsanguination kit. It sounds pretty bad, but it's worse. Crafting, we will need a blood extractor, and I like to have 2 blood sacks. I don't have enough plant fiber for 2. I need a second one. I need more plant fiber. I need more fiber in my diet. They changed the small vehicle fuel cell iconography, imagery. Potato, potato. The storm. There's the storm. So it hasn't reached us yet, but it'll get here in a
A
second.
large sandstorm is approaching.
That is the sound of a follow, I assume. 1 second. Indeed, it is a follow by Kodiak Shift. I have a spiel for follows. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. And there's the storm has hit. You don't want to be outside in a storm. Storm will kill you pretty quickly. It'll also damage any of your vehicles that are sitting out in it. And it will damage your house if you don't have a powered generator. And if your house isn't enclosed. Is it done? It's done. It has blown past us. Okay. Now, it's time for murdering some suckers. Possibly not the nicest way to put it. What is the truth? And I believe in speaking truth to power. I would like Some more plant fiber. I think I need a little bit more to make a second blood sac.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I am streaming. Is that all right?
Oh, all right.
This is my friend Vorp. You may hear me call him Tip Top because, well, he goes by both. I also go by Spongo. Don't ask. How far are you in?
Just got through. I just got out of the cave. So.
What class did you make?
I don't remember.
Bene Gesserit? Swordmaster? Trooper?
Voice one, I think.
Mentat. Sorry, which?
The voice one?
Ah, Bene Gesserit. Yep. As long as it wasn't the Trooper.
No, it wasn't Trooper. Stroke.
And now we're going to suck his blood. Yes, it is that gross. Did he have a friend in here? He did not. Whee! If you have any questions at all, obviously, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
I should probably specify. Feel free to ask. And honey, I'm home. Construct. Research the blood purifier. Just saw a VOD from my last Guild Wars 2 stream earlier today. Really enjoyed watching it. Thank you very, very much. That's very kind indeed. Well, I would be doing more, but we've got the Dune weekend, and I've got friends trying out the game on the free trial, so construct a blood purifier. It's pretty awful when you think about it, but hey. I think I need to change the set. Yeah, I'm not sure why it defaulted to that. But normally it defaults to that. There we are. Refineries. All right. We will deposit the blood.
You're probably feeling it by now, Offworlder. Spice. It's everywhere on Arrakis.
I'm about to
The
be tripping
air, The
balls.
sand, the blood. It prolongs life, expands consciousness, and triggers some very vivid dreams.
Okay. Spice. Just say no, kids.
Observe this valley, sacred to the Equan Bedouin. Here, Wally faced the trials of Aku, proving their knowledge of the Fremen ways. Find the Fremen, she said.
This would qualify as a bad trip, I think.
7 steps. Set your feet. Follow the uncertain path. Keep moving. The only true death is stagnation.
I'm feeling much better now. This is your brain on spice. Exactly. I've experienced a spice dream. All right, follow my inner sight to the first trial, which is to the southeast. I think we've got enough plant fiber now I can make that second bag I wanted. I just like to have 2 of the blood sacks. Do I have enough to make myself a couple more heal kits? Yes. Oh, we'll just make 3 more. One of the nice things is you're continuing to craft while you're running. The game sort of has 3 mobility phases. The first is when you start and you're on foot. There's no way out of there. At the end of this sort of starting area where you learn the basics of the game, you will get your first speeder, and that makes getting around much, much easier. And then a significant amount of time later, you will eventually get access to the ornithopter, which is when you really get mobility. It's like you get the speeder and you go, how did I survive running around for so long? This is so much better. And then you get the ornithopter and it's like, how did I survive for so long? This makes getting around so much easier. This is the first little trade hub. Griffin's Reach. Trade post. But we're headed in that direction. One of the things the game gets right, normally I don't like little details about things like survival games where, the basics of survival, food and water, play an incredibly important part. And I haven't liked that since you had to keep track of your food and water in, I think, Ultima. There's nothing fun about the sort of having to do that constantly. But in a Dune setting, it completely makes sense that water plays such a huge part, especially in the early game. Later on, not nearly as much, except as a crafting material. You'll get to a certain point where water is no longer an issue for survival. All right, we're headed there. So the water, up. Let me. That's the wrong thing. Let's see. Give me just a sec. No, not that. I'll move myself to there. So you guys can see in the lower left, there is the water gauge. You'll note it's broken up into sort of 3 divisions, and anywhere below the 3rd, where we are right now, if I get a little bit thirstier, I'll be able to get enough water to get me up to that 1/3 full line from these kinds of plants. But I need to be a little bit lower to be able to do that. Whoop, hey, we've got possible bad guys. Oh, there he is. We take his bullets and his blood. And we were out in the sun for just a little bit too long. When you're in the sort of sunstroke state, you lose water very quickly. So I'm actually going to go back to where we just had those water plants and refill myself back up to 1/3. In the early game, water's a big deal. There we go. That's the dew limit. Later on, you'll get a tool that will allow you to harvest water from those plants just before dawn. Yeah, another camp. Rather not kill unnecessarily right now. I'm a man of peace. I meet people and they end up resting in peace. That's exactly what peace means, right? I have still only been eaten by Shai-Hulud once in the game, and that was intentional. When they opened up the beta server, I created a new character just to futz around a bit. And when I was finishing up my session for the evening, I took off all my stuff, stuck it in storage, ran around in circles until Shai-Hulud showed up. And he had a lens snack. I'm tasty and delicious.
Kinda kicked me out.
What? It kicked you out? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't think I had that occur that I can remember, but maybe 2 or 3 times in all the hours I've played. We've got more water here.
The end of the cutscene, I think, kicked me back to character select.
Ah.
Battle IO.
Alright, Mina Cavern. The first of the Trials of Akelheim up to level 5.
Alright.
Yeah, if any of you are people who enjoy a survival/crafting game, it is a free weekend, and I think Dune Awakening is a damned good one. And if you also are a Dune fan, I would really give it a try. If you're either of them, it's probably worth at least considering.
Big old worm.
Sorry, what was that?
It's a big old worm.
It is a worm. It is a large worm. Did he just snack on the crashed ship?
Yeah.
I'm tripping balls again. Just say no to spice. I just too much, man. Yes, welcome to Tripping Ballsylvania.
Who is it that thinks?
Me?
Kitaiba. The weight of a kindly god is a fearful thing. Do you understand, Wally?
My name isn't Wally.
Our god gave us the burning eyes of Allat and the words of the Kitab al-Ibar. Rest in black shade.
Alright, this is basically don't get burned by the sun. Basic lesson in not dying. Don't get burned by the sun. Here, well, duck down, duck and cover.
When we began our wandering, we suffered until suffering was a thing we came to know within our souls. Arrakis is suffering. When we found it, we were home.
Dialogue volume. Oh, I already had the dialogue volume at 100. Guess we turn the master volume up a bit more then. Really, whoever made this security for them, it's not doing a very good job, really. If it goes off on a regular pattern for a regular amount of time, it's just not going to keep people, from running away. Pardon me?
We were made to suffer. Our children taken and made slaves. They denied us the Hajj. To forgive,
Ow.
never to forget.
That was my fault. My bad. Clearly.
The weight of a kindly God is a fearful thing. Did not God give us the burning sun to defy? Suffering leads to defiance. And where does defiance lead?
And
Ibn Qutayba
touchdown. The crowd goes wild.
leads to thought. Who is it that thinks? Those who suffer. Ibn Qutayba, defiance leads to thought. Who is it that thinks?
Those who suffer.
Those who suffer. Remember Harmontep. Bila Kaifa.
These are the path that the Fremen took from planet to planet, each one being like awful, until they finally got to Arrakis, which is awful, but at least they were in charge of their own destiny, in essence. And we have finished the first of the tests. There's basically 7 and then another one. Why that's not 8, I don't know. But and I think when you do the 4th one, your 3rd ability slot opens up, and you also get access to the prescient state by consuming spice. You can activate it, and basically you become much harder to kill, and your skills have a much faster cooldown, and basically you become a murder machine, which is a plus.
Still there, off-worlder? Your signal drifted for a moment. No matter. A thought occurs. When the Sardaukar began their purge, many Fremen were slaughtered. The ones that were not abandoned their caves, leaving valuable resources behind. Valuable resources that just might contain the makings of a still suit. Take what you need. Their ghosts will not object.
Well, they haven't objected in the past. You can see they have the little scythe icon, which means that in the upper right-hand corner underneath my head, there's an indicator that shows what time of day it is. And right now is a good time for harvesting that water if I, in fact, had a water scythe, which I do not. Get those later. Alright, we need to find a sealed cave next. I think I see one in the distance over there, but I also think that's a more dangerous area than I would like to go wandering around in. Maybe there, but I don't think so. But I do want to check. Inside there'll be usually 2 or 3 guys and certain types of materials, including what we're specifically looking in this case. No, okay, those were just batches of fiber, which I'm not going to complain about. I generally, unless I have a specific reason not to, make my characters look like me. I believe in an honest presentation. In the early days of the visual internet, people seemed to go out of their way to make themselves look beautiful and perfect, and often going out of their way to completely misrepresent who they were. I chose not to. I chose to go the other way. Fat, bald dudes with goatees. Wherever possible. Sooner or later, we are going to need more copper. And we're going to probably want more granite as well. This is an outpost. Basically a little bandit, or a bigger bandit camp. There might be a dozen or more bad guys in there. The littler ones, like what we see right there, is probably one or two. At least one, I can see him. Out comes the gun. We make sure we're reloaded. It looks like two. Don't worry. I'm just taking their extra juice. They don't need it anymore. Usually pick a female character, but not for representation purposes. Ooh, boot to the head. Sorry about that, dude. Did that hurt? That looked like that might have hurt, really. The exception for me is like Guild Wars 2, where I've created so many characters, I want to have sort of a more balanced representation of things, and access to races and gender and all that good stuff. And anytime you're running around, if your water is below a third and you're not carrying any or anything, and you can hydrate at these plants, do so. It's really important. At night, out comes the Sardaukar ships. And if you get spotted, you'll get frozen for like 15 or 20 seconds. And then they will drop off some mercenaries to, well, murder you. I frankly find it unfriendly, impolite. We are looking for a moisture sealed cave. Basically, cave like that one. Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for. I have located a moisture-sealed cave. There can be mines on the floor. You do want to be careful of those. Anyone else? Juicy. I did not get enough micro sandwich fabric. Not even close. Well, closer. The Swordmaster martial art. I'm pretty sure that bit is basically stolen from the movie Dune, where Duncan Idaho uses a flying sort of knee kick to bring down a Sardaukar and then, face stabs him a bunch. I did not get enough micro sandwich fabric out of that. That's unusual. I don't think I've ever had that not give me what was necessary for the quest. So that's a little strange. But it does mean I need to find another one. Yeah, Nijitsu. It hits really hard. Early on, it's almost certain to kill any of the regular mobs. If you hit, you can miss. You can jump and miss if you're not actually making a decent aim of it. Well, low on water, guess what? Hydrate, boys and girls. It's not just for streamers. Oh, evidently I did get enough materials for the... Yeah, okay, now I just need more salvage metal. It ticked off. I don't mean it got angry. I mean it ticked off that it had that I had enough. So I was correct in remembering that. Hey, I always got enough fabric, and yeah, I did get enough fabric. I just need more metal. Yeah, that was a big 3 salvaged metal. Yep. We would like a nice big chunk of salvageable metal, please. You also want to be aware of the sun gauge in the middle of your screen there. If it gets to the end of the gauge, it'll turn red, and then it will slowly go back down once you get in the shade. Your water consumption is much higher when you're in that state. And that probably is not healthy. Gonna go out on a limb. Somebody's house is decayed. And I need to get back in the shade. Shade me, please. Thank you. While I scan around for more salvaged metal. Oh, I think we got a bullseye. Not quite enough. Almost. We're so close I can taste it. It's a bit sandy, but I can taste it. Think you try the game once it's free to play? It already is. It's free. The free to play weekend has started. Time to get downloading. I need to drink water from the blood purifier. Strawberry. Let's deposit our 4 liters of blood. But now you see why I start with 2 bags. It's because the maximum capacity is 2 full bags worth, or 6 liters. Research the fabricator. You gotta keep it fabricated. Bam, bam, bam. Sorry. We will now make the fabricator. Good, good. I have constructed a fabricator. No, it's just that it's Dune. You need to keep drinking. You need to keep your water up. And the best source of water is the blood of your enemies. You kill them, you drain their blood, you put it in the blood purifier. It's just to get water out. I have to make a still suit. What a still suit will do is it gives you better heat protection. And it also will collect some of the water that you are constantly losing. So that you can drink your own sweat, pee, and poop. Don't worry, it's been filtered. If you set all the pipes right. And Zatara is going to tell us about what happens if you don't set the pipes up right. And by pipes, I mean catheter. Yep. I like to think it's a Texas catheter, also known as a bleacher buddy. Because if it's a catheter, I think I'd rather just die of thirst, thank you. Exactly. You got to do what you got to do. We now have our still suit. Now, as an example, the headpiece here, you can see it has 11 armor, a reduced cost for dashing, which is used in combat. It has decent mitigation of blade damage and some heat protection. This has the same armor, much better heat protection, but does not have the other two bonuses. So, at least to my mind, it is worthwhile carrying around both a still suit and an armor suit, and swapping into the armor suit when you know you're going into a combat situation.
Impressive, Offworlder. Just remember, if you didn't connect the tubes between the caths and the thigh pads just right, you'll be drinking your own liquefied feces. And that does not count as hydration, by the way. I have good news, Offworlder.
Yes.
My leg has recovered enough that I will risk it to move forward. I know a place in your sector where we can
Exactly
meet.
the correct
Craft a
response
survey
to that.
device so you can figure out how to
Dude.
get there and join
Yeah.
me.
Let's see. All right, I'm going to get rid of the Mala stuff because we no longer need that. While it is relatively fashionable, it is clogging up my inventory unnecessarily. I am going to drop the crafting materials, or at least most of them. You don't need to be carrying it to use it. We do like to keep a little salvaged metal and some plant fiber around for basically bullets and bandages, respectively. Sadly, we don't need that. Right. Let's see the split. Make some more bandages. Sorry, heal kits. They're bandages. I'm going to AFK for just a sec. Like how I explain everything? Well, I'm assuming because it is a free weekend, we're going to have some people in here who haven't played the game, might be interested in playing the game. And if I can explain stuff, I think I can increase their enjoyment of the game. And I think the game is worth trying if you find it interesting at all. I'll be right back. Another. Coke Zero, the taste of the old generation. All right, so I have lightened the load of stuff I'm carrying. We can drop off the armor plating for sure. Don't need to carry that around. Explanations are nice too for those who don't play and keeps the stream engaging. That is, I've had a few times I've had people say, I want to start streaming, any advice? And a lot of other streamers will give practical advice for a lot of things. They'll say stuff like, which is true, set up a regular schedule so people that find you and are interested in you can continue to find you. But for me, if you want to be a streamer, one of the most practical pieces of advice I can give is learn to self-narrate. Practice when you're playing games off stream. I talk to myself all the time anyway, so for me, it's relatively straightforward. But for a lot of people, it's not something they're comfortable with. And so even when there's nobody in stream watching, I continue to self-narrate. All right, construct or interact with the small refinery. Small ore refinery. Refine copper. We'll do one. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and craft the max. Glad it's not made with your enemy's blood. Not yet. All right, we've refined the copper. Research the surveying kit. And that has the probe launcher and probes. We need to fab a probe launcher. And I'll make 3 probes as well. And what the probe will do, you have to get to a high place. You have to pull out the probe launcher, launch the probe, and stand there for like 15 seconds or 30 seconds, something like that. And it scans the map area. And then that'll uncover the immediate map area around you.
Did you get a probe made?
I did.
Good. Static discharge from the sandstorms makes map data extremely unreliable on Arrakis. But if you can get it high enough, a handheld probe can gather enough local data to give you a snapshot of the region. Climb somewhere high and fire off the probe. Just don't let the Sardaukar spot you.
Not sure if this will get us higher, but one of the things the probe launcher will do is it'll tell you how much higher you've got to get. You need to be 20 meters higher. In the lower left, you can see there's a little meter that sticks out horizontally. That is sort of your stamina meter used for fighting and climbing. You will be able to increase its size so you have more stamina. Also, in the not too distant future, we will get a suspensor belt, which will allow us to fall from high places and not die. There's the Sardaukar ship again. Let's bust out the probe launcher. We are high enough. That's one of the, that's a Highliner, a Guild Highliner. There's the scanning beam. And
Very good. I'm going to the Griffin's Reach trade post. Come and find me there.
there it has
Just remember to be
unveiled the
careful
entire
crossing
map
the
area
sands.
of
Move
Haga
from rocky
Basin south.
ground to rocky ground. Learn how far you can move on sand before the worm comes. And remember, look both ways before you cross the desert.
Always look both ways before you cross the desert. Now, I have to travel a terribly long distance to Griffin's Reach transport trade post. Oh, no, I don't. It's right there. And that is the advantage to building close to the trade post. You have quests that will send you there. You get quests there that you have to cash in. It just simply makes sense, if possible, to build relatively close to the trade post. I was not optimal in that I chose sort of a location where there's an enormous canyon between me and it, so I have to pick my way down. A jetpack would be good. Fortunately, you have the equivalent. Ow. Okay, if you're going to play one piece of helpful advice, you have an initial choice of your class. My suggestion is do not choose Trooper, because you will get a quest that will open up Trooper early on if you don't have it. So you can have 2 spec trees to choose from within a couple of hours if you don't choose Trooper. You'll have Trooper and one of the other 3. So my suggestion, do not choose Trooper. Trooper is good, and you will want Trooper because Trooper early on has
Alas, Offworlder,
the grappling
it
hook.
seems my fame precedes me even here, at the arse end of the Haga Basin. Your Emperor's lackey, Count Fenring, has put an obscene bounty on my head. And while I'm flattered to be his great boogeyman, the added attention is making life complicated. Take a look around. There's a contract
Come on,
board
Zentara,
that
we
might
know.
interest you. But be careful. Civilized men are not to be trusted.
That's true. Fortunately, I'm a barbarian, personally. So what you do is you get the Shigawire Claw, which is the grappling hook. And once you get the active suspensor, you can launch yourself. You grappling hook, you shoot up, and you activate the belt, and you continue to fly. You can't fly, but you can soar a long way. This guy is the individual, in fact, who will give you the quest. That will open up
Look at the way you stand.
the trooper
No
tree.
discipline, no confidence. I've killed 1,000 like you on the battlefield.
Now that there are trainers for the others, but you won't stumble into them until significantly later into the game. So choosing Bene Gesserit or Swordmaster or Mentat will get you the trooper tree anyway. And you'll have 2 trees. That's just more options for you. If you find you need more offense, take offensive skills. More defense, you can take defensive skills. Also, more flat out just buffs, additional damage, more stamina, things like that. More options is better. There is a 5th tree that will also become available to you early on, and that one is planetology. So that's things like using less water and getting more materials from mining and so on.
Well, a little respect with some good sense in the proportion. There's something here I can work with. But don't despair. Salvation is at hand. I can show you how to fight. I can teach you how to kill. And it will only cost you a little pain.
I'm good with that. I like pain.
Then listen closely. During the Battle of Arakeen, I was drugged and kept out of it by a group of conspirators. For the sake of my honor, I have spent the last 8 years tracking down and destroying them, one by one.
A little bit
Who knows how
crazy,
the Battle of
okay.
Arakeen would have turned out if I hadn't been kept away. And now, I have reason to believe the conspirators are nearby. Track them down, kill them. My thirst for vengeance has been slaked. Do
Okay.
this for me.
I'll do it. Fine. That's what I need to do. I need to find and kill 3 dudes. They are here, here, and here, I think. So So they're way over here. We will get a quest relatively soon that will send us here to the wreck of a spaceship. I suggest you, when you finish that, you then head here, here, and here to kill the 3 dudes. You make your way back here to this guy, and you'll have the quests to complete will be completed for the wreck of the Alcyon, and also the quest that opens up the second tree. The skills trees are here: Swordmaster, Bene Gesserit, Planetologist, Mentat, and Trooper. This is the Shigawire Claw, which is the grappling hook. I'm here. I have skill points. I can do them. There are 3 types of things. There are active skills, there are passives, and then there are techniques. You can have up to 3 techniques. Extra blade damage. What do we want? Optimized hydration. Hydrated stamina boost. You have more stamina when you're fully hydrated. Heal kit instant restoration. Bleed tolerance. Techniques. Let's see. That one is defeating an enemy empowers your next melee attack. So if there are multiple guys around, right? We'll go ahead and add blade damage. 3% blade damage. It's not a lot, but it goes up to 6 and then 9. So it starts adding up. All right. Let's see. There's a bounty on Xantara's head for 1,000,000 credits. And a quest based on an actual 6,000-year-old, 4,000-year-old, I can't remember, thing that's become a meme, a joke, about Nasir and the copper delivery. I need 40 copper ore. I have none. Copper ore. All right, there should be copper around somewhere relatively close by. I did play Guild Wars 1. I played on stream for like a week or so, and got up to level 20, which is the cap. And that was about it. I like the game, but I find I can't stick with it for very long for whatever reason. So yeah, I played it. It and me, I can't say we really clicked. I didn't dislike it, but it simply wasn't able to pull me in for an extended period of time. I do have to say that the community was extremely helpful. But in my experience, because I play a lot of different games, playing a smaller, more niche game, a lot of times I'll have people come in and they're just happy to see someone playing the game that they enjoy, and they are almost always incredibly helpful. With advice mostly, and sometimes with stuff. The advice is obviously what I prefer to the stuff. That's more important, at least to me. Not that I'm saying no to stuff. Did we get enough? We have enough, ladies and gentlemen. We have enough. We now can go back and turn in the copper we just picked up. I actually bought Guild Wars 1 when it came out. The collector's edition is sitting right next to me. I tried it, and I tried it like a half a dozen times through the years. Finally, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, playing it on stream with the help and stuff, advice from players, other players, I did manage to finally reach level 20. And we'll turn in our copper. Struggle with getting social in MMOs and engaging with communities. Keep wanting to. Any tips? I mostly do play solo, but I also play with friends that I've gotten in other games. One of them is online right now. He's been in chat for a while. In voice chat with me. We're both in Discord. But most of those are friends I made playing Lord of the Rings online and basically getting pulled into a group. But I am known for playing solo even when like I'm in chat with friends who are playing the same game. My advice would be if you're in a group, an ad hoc group or something, say in Guild Wars 2 you're running around and there's a open world event or something, saying hi to everybody or good job when the fight is over, those kinds of things will open up chat opportunities. Generally, people who do blind invites to guilds, I wouldn't be interested in. If you can get an invite, to a guild, which is pretty easy in Guild Wars 2 because everyone can be in 6 guilds at once. It can be worth it, but I wouldn't recommend it from a blind invite. But if people are throwing around if you're in a group and someone, if you're not wearing any guild tag, maybe, it is hard to open up those social connections. There are a lot of tools for it. One thing you can try is what you're doing right now by chatting with me, which is chatting with a small streamer. I was in a small streamer's stream a couple years ago, chatted a bit. They actually sent me an email because they watched their chat and saw that they'd missed something I said and they thought it was really funny. And so they just sent me an email saying that they really liked it, a DM. And well, a couple of years later, and I'm a regular chatter in their chat, and I group up with them from time to time. So that can be a way. Discord, or not Discord, but Twitch chat or YouTube. Although I don't really know the YouTube dynamic, Twitch chat can be a good way of meeting people. And so chatting the way you're chatting here can be a good tool for exactly what you're talking about. Nice. See, I try and play all sorts of games. If I'm going to play it and I think I'll enjoy it, then I am definitely going to stream it. And I think that is, that has paid off. Like I said, if I'm playing a smaller game, a lot of times I get enthusiastic players in chat. I need to buy something, dude. Thank you.
Hey, stop.
Friends I'm usually game with aren't really into MMOs, so it's hard to
Scavenger
get them
and
to
murk
try.
from here to Harco.
I'll
And
have
I
to
don't
step your game up and
recognize
find a group in
you.
MMOs. It can be
So
very
perhaps
tough.
you'll give us the courtesy
And
of who you are?
You kind of
and
have to
how
go
you're
in with
at
the
it,
assumption
why our
that
airspace
it's
is
probably not going
crawling
to
with
work out,
Sardaukar.
but it might. The long-standing group I have from Lord of the Rings Online happened. I saw. I was standing like near the stables in Bree, waiting for something, and I saw a character next to me with a cool outfit, and so I did the /bow emote, and they just sent me a tell. Why is a adorable little hobbit like you not part of a guild? And I answered in pseudo RP, you know, well, I just haven't found the right one, something like that, and got an invite. And it's 15 years, 18 years later, and these people are still friends of mine. So that kind of thing is just happenstance. The group I was with in Star Wars Galaxies. I needed some specific items made, and so I talked to a guy who I knew was making those items, and ending up being pulled into their guild.
Not a talker, eh? Well, the rules at Griffin's Reach are simple. You pay up front and don't cause trouble, or we'll toss you into the storms. Good?
As for pulling in non-MMO friends into MMOs, obviously
Name's Mia.
going with
I do the
one that has
trading and the
a
talking. My silent partner
a
here
large
does the
free-to-play
fighting. And there's a
component,
contract board in the corner.
like Guild Wars
if
2 does.
You need work.
Where the entire core game is free to play. That's a big advantage. So, you know, either a large component of it being free to play or, you know, extended demos, that kind of thing. Tried Latro a long time ago. Heard Amazon's new game studio, the one behind New World, is making a Lord of the Rings MMO. You are correct. That one actually has a bit of a tortured past. Let me get the Hajra. Leader John. Initially, Amazon partnered with Layao. They're the company that owns the Warframe developers, Digital Extremes. But when Layao got bought by Tencent and Amazon couldn't agree on terms, and so they killed the contract. And then a couple years later, Amazon made a contract with the license holder, Embracer Group, may they rot, and have been working on it ever since. And frankly, New World has suffered because they pulled a lot of their best devs off of it. We really don't have much information about the Lord of the Rings MMO that's being worked on by Amazon at all. Other than one of the guys in charge basically said something along the lines of, we're still trying to find the hook to make the game different. All right, where am I? I've got to pick up the contract scrap metal from the contract board. Okay. Scrap metal. All right,
You're going to find, Offworlder, that Arrakis is a planet of unique opportunity. No former prisoner would ever have access to the military technology of the great houses. But with the war, chaos reigns. Ships crash and are shot down, sometimes spilling military-grade materials onto the sands. The Fremen know the ways of the desert and how to do a lot with very little. The Imperium, on the other hand, have infinite resources and the production capacity of countless worlds. Plunder them, Offworlder. There is a shipwreck near here. Slip inside and claim your share of the spoils.
Yep, I'll be doing that in just a second. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to run back home first. I'm going to make the Leader John and fill it with filtered water from the people I liberated from life. Oh, that's not great. These are bad guys who want to kill me. I didn't do it. Whatever they're angry about, it's not my fault. All right, we're back here. We need to make the Leader John. Did I? No, I did not research the schematic. I can't make it. I don't have the parts. I need something that I will be getting out of the wreck to make the Leader John. Let's see, in research, we've got 7 intel. The rest of it's all locked. Now, all right, so we are now off for the wreck of the Alcyon. And then we'll kill the two bad guys as well. 3 bad guys that the trooper trainer wants us to kill to get even for him getting drunk with his friends and missing out on the battle. So we will have to pick our way from stone outcropping to stone outcropping, grabbing water when we can. I didn't, because I'm a dope. Pardon the dope. I'm the dope. I can drink the water, and that will give me water, and it'll also allow me to get water from the still suit, which I actually can do right now as well. Sorry, I'm a dope. I did dopiness. I feel shame over the dopiness and being a dope. Did I ever get into try Warframe? Yeah, I played a lot of Warframe. Not too long ago, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I do a series of streams where I'll play a game that I played in the past with the complete free-to-play experience by creating an alt account. And I did that for Warframe. Yeah, like a year and a half or 2 years ago. The new onboarding is no better than the old onboarding for Warframe. I will drink and drink and drink. All right. I am now all watered up, which really doesn't sound very attractive. I'm not convinced on Soulframe. Warframe's play is a blast. Just the minute-to-minute gameplay in Warframe is just fun. And frankly, Soulframe, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced Soulframe's going to work, at least for me. I am very moisted. Yes. So, it's not a traditional MMO. But it has an awful lot of the MMO features. So what it has is the server architecture. There's a bunch of servers, right? I don't know, maybe 100? Could be more. And each server has 25, I believe, sietches. And each siege can hold up to 60 players. So, in order that you don't end up with every square inch of the map covered in houses, they limit the number of players per map, basically. Per siege. We've got another moisture-sealed cave, so I am going in. Pardon me, are you using your body's moisture? No? Oh, okay, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that. Donation for the cause. You can also have yourself, teleported in essence to another siege on the same server. I've only done that when there were server issues. So if your siege is full, a friend could create a character on another siege on the same server, and you would be able to move between. There are some limitations on house building, so I can't remember if you could build another house, a house on somebody else's, on a different siege. I'm not positive how that works. You might be able to have houses on multiple sieges, but there's a limit on the total number of houses you can have. Getting armor plating and scrap metal from these. I will skip going into that one because we are working towards the Alcyon, which is right there. And then it's 1,000 meters. I think that's to the first of our kill targets that we have. I heard somebody say something. Oh, there's a camp there. Bandit camps. Alright, so we're headed towards the Alcyon. That is the sound of Sardaukar ships. Again, if the Sardaukar catch you, they'll hit you with basically a freeze ray for 15 or 20 seconds. And then they'll drop a bunch of mercenaries to kill you. In the early game, run, because they're tough. Later on in the game, players will go out of their way to get frozen so that mercenaries will drop so that they can kill them for their bodies. Because they get the corpses and will put the corpses into basically what amounts to casket-sized water draining devices. Alright, there are usually 3 NPCs out here. Unless somebody else has been around. There's one. It is, well, I mean, it is true to the source material. I missed. That's not good. Never read the books or watched the movies. Oh. The books can be a tough read, but the movies are both very good. Boot to the head. Why, yes, I will take your blood. Thank you very much for offering. That's very kind. Now, there'll be 3 or 4 people waiting for me in here. Printer is very obsessed with the books. Says it's a very good it's a difficult read. Like I said, the first one took me 5 or 6 tries. You know, I put it down and I'd come back and I'd start again, and it took me 5 or 6 tries. It's really, really good. It is not really approachable at the start. And generally, for me, a good read means something that's fun and simple and very immediately engaging. So I wouldn't say it's a good read. I'd say it's a great book. Oh, I'm dead for sure. Gotta run. Gotta know when to hold him, when to fold him. At least until my flying knee kick comes back. It's back. I'm still dead. Don't reload. Just finish. Oh, that wasn't close at all. Never a problem. Everything was fine the whole time. Oh, he's not dead. That was very difficult indeed. I'm very lucky to have not died. Oh. Oh. Where the hell did you come from? I've had enough of you, sir. How would you feel about a knee to the face? That all right with you, buddy? All right, we're full. We're carrying full bloods. Now, as a cool thing, you get close to this, you'll note it's got the icon for something that can be harvested. You can cut through doors. Plus, we just looted a crappity gun, but you'll note the crappity gun, it's partially damaged, but it still does a lot more damage than what we're doing. It does about 50% more damage. So, even though it's not going to last forever because it doesn't have a whole bunch of sort of wear and tear left in it, doing 50% extra damage seems good. All right, we got the Holtzman amplifier that we need. That's some story stuff that we don't really need, but go ahead.
Mayday. This is Ensign Meredith commanding Alcyon. Lieutenant Lakers is down. The convoy is under sustained attack. They knew where we'd be. We've lost contact with the group leader, Kytheria.
My God! Look at them all! It's Horizon jet fighters out there!
Belay that chatter! We have sustained several direct hits, and we're losing Trim badly. We're going to try to set her down. Our emergency transponder is active. Godspeed, everyone.
We can't get in there until we get the key. And another door that you need the cutter ray for. Headshots generally do more damage. Obviously, center of body mass is a little easier to hit. However, later on, you will have access to a sniper rifle, which I strongly recommend. It has the ability to pick off mobs at a long distance. Chef's kiss. We killed a couple that came out of here. But I think there was at least one more still in here. Oh, maybe he was the one who snuck around outside and was waiting for me at the door. That is a blueprint for a much better knife. Alright, we've gotten everything we need out of here. We will need to get copper ore, but we have a lot of that left back at home. We have copper ore at home. So we are now going to head east 550 meters, and we're going to kill the first of the guys that the trooper needs dead. Also, as a point of interest for you, putting away any weapon or tool you're carrying will allow you to run slightly faster. I drank some water out of my still suit. I was feeling a bit parched, you know. Oh, well. Boot to the head. Nice. Night is certainly nice for any time where you're going to have to do a lot of running. You don't have to worry about the heat, but you do have to worry about the Sardaukar. And their ships and spotlights, because they're jerks. All right, I think it's one bad guy in the first two caves and then three bad guys in the third cave. But I'm not positive, so I will try to be alert. Also be aware that, I mentioned it before, there can be landmines in some of these places. You'll hear a little doop, 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 and I think that is a landmine right there, which I will avoid. That is a follow from Errol Garden. Thank you very, very much. I have a spiel for that. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very much for the follow. I even gave you a little fireworks. We want to go out this way? I'm not sure we do. No, more dudes. Generally speaking, at this point, you want to play it pretty safe. It won't be too long until you get your first shield, and you'll have a lot more wiggle room with a shield to not have to die. Not humble just because you have a low amount of people. No, well, no, I'm it's humble in that I am not one of those streamers who puts an enormous amount of time and effort into gussying up the stream. I don't have a lot of emotes. I don't have visual or sound effects or any of that sort of stuff. I don't have incredible aspirations because I am not trying to make a living at this. I do this for fun. As a retired old fart, I have no hopes and dreams of making a living or having 1,000 people watching ever. However, I do have 1,000 subs on YouTube, and I've been as high as like 950 Twitch follows. Those have gone down to about 850. But I've been bouncing back in the last couple of weeks. You know, it's humble because I bought a camera, I bought a mic, I started streaming for fun. It's not much of a production. I have unspent skill points. Well, yeah, that's true. Dance of Blades. Sure, why not? It'll make them feel better. They'll leave me alone. All right. The second bad guy awaits. And again, mines. And they call it a mine. A mine. Another one. But we could just run by. That time you got to hear the sound of a mine. You missed Guild Wars 1? Well, they did. I mean, they did have, for the anniversary, they did add some additional stuff in. Access to things that were previously inaccessible unless you were around for the specific period of time or in the specific location. All right, we have one last dude who needs moitering. I'm going to go ahead and make a few more heal kits because I've been picking up the mats. Might as well. And at most you want 20 because it's a stack. Inventory has two limits. It has a weight limit and a which they call a volume limit because reasons. It also has a number of items limit. Quest items are added at the bottom and don't take up space, but you can't have more than, 35? Something like that. 7. 35 objects or stacks, and you can't have more than a certain amount of weight either. So, something to be aware of. When you get your first sand bike, you can put a storage, basically a trunk on it for storage, which I would recommend doing. Note, you will also be able to, in essence, store your vehicle in a storage device, basically allowing you to put it in your pocket, more or less. And you won't be able to do that. Oh, there, it's Shai Halud. And he would like to eat me, but I should reach rock before he can. Yeah, yep, that's an Angie worm, and I have sadly overheated, so I'll drop myself here. I don't remember what I was saying before the Angie word came up. Oh, storage. You cannot pocket your vehicle, whether it's a sand bike or the Recon Ornithopter, if you've got anything in the storage trunk. So you cannot do recursive storing. All right, here we go. Third guy. There are historically 3 bad guys in here. Come on. Come on out. They're up above. Nope, there they are. Have a knee and some bullets. All right, and now we head back. Don't worry, it's a mere 2.5 kilometers away. That's about 1.5 miles, a little over. I will sip some water from the catch pockets of my still suit. No reason to be stupid. Go ahead and heal yourself all the way up. Well, we've gotten everything we wanted to get done out of this area. We wanted to get the Alcyon taken care of, and then shoot the baddies to open up Trooper. We also do need more copper ore. That's not great. We do not have any shade available. I'm going to overheat. I'm overheated. Just all I needed was a couple more seconds. All right, well, we're out of the sun now. And there we go. Mr. Streamer, sir, did you choose locked or unlocked? Locked. Locked will prevent you from making a mistake. After you've played a time or two through the early game, unlocked would be fine, but especially for first time, you want locked. Basically, it's going to walk you through the progression of crafting in the game. So you'll craft the parts you need as you need them. Oh, we've got a dude, or possibly dudette. Pardon me, sir or ma'am. Might I miss a word with you? I missed. And we're overheated again. I choose to go locked even now. When I theoretically could freely do all of the stuff and not have to worry about it, but it makes sure I don't do something stupid. Oh, come on. Which little blue area am I not shooting correctly? There we go. So for anyone else who's popped in and didn't get my spiel, if you're going to give the game a try, and I don't see any reason why you shouldn't, free weekend. Do not choose Trooper, because Trooper is easily unlocked early on. The other 3 choices are unlocked much later, so choose one of the other 3 now. I've been playing for 2 hours and 7 minutes, and when I turn in this quest to the dude... Now, granted, I obviously know what I'm doing here. When I turn the quest in to the guy, that will open up the Trooper tree for me. And I'll have access to Trooper and Swordmaster trees, which just basically gives you more skills to choose from, and more options is generally good. Trooper is a perfectly fine choice, but because you'll be able to unlock it, you know, in my case, 2 hours and 10 minutes in your case, maybe, you know, a significant amount more. Oh, hi, sir. Ooh, right to the head. That's going to leave a mark. On the other hand, I killed the previous resident here, and sadly, the goodie box is already opened because I killed the previous resident. The NPCs respawn relatively quickly. I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, something like that. The boxes are on a longer cooldown. Might be 4 hours? 2 hours? Something like that. So you can't basically just farm, you know, one batch of mobs and cave forever. And this should give us the last of the copper we need. We'll have to fabricate a full set of scavenger rags, which, frankly, that doesn't sound all that good. And head for the shade. Can I get to the shade? No. Oh my god, that was like half a second. I was robbed. That was not fair. That was a cheap cheat. And I would like to put together a sternly worded letter to my Congress critter. I'm at 168 out of 175 volume, so I'm almost overloaded. Oh, look. I'll identify myself. It's need to know. Get it? It's need to... Never mind. Oop. Catch a little sand. Cool down a bit. You see, I run away from that one. I saved their life. I saved their life by not murdering them. That's actually a very strange rationalization, but I'm going to stick with it. I saved their life by not killing them. Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me. Where are we? We are heading there. However, we will be back in this location quite soon. As we are a little low on water. I'd like to suck plant, please. Can we have a plant suck location? Oh, crap. I have a little bit of water in my still suit, but I would rather suck plant and then drink from the still suit. Plant sucking. Pardon me. While I do this. Oh, Lens, you are such a wit. At least half the time I'm witty. We will get back. We will fabricate scavenger rags, which are better than the armor equivalent that I'm currently wearing. You can catch yourself in mid-fall, and that can prevent damage. You do take falling damage. So you do have to be careful, at least until you get a suspensor belt. We didn't get one of those, did we? No, we don't have a suspensor belt yet. But we did get a Calef's Drinker. We'll go ahead and learn. I guess we have to be at home to learn the recipe. Or maybe at the trade post. Not just out and about in the world. There it is. Griffin's Landing. Griffin's Reach. Griffin's something. Obviously named for Peter Griffin. Archie Griffin? Merv Griffith? More plant-sucking behavior by yours truly. So we'll be researching scavenger rags, the Karpov 38, and the Kinjal. Kinjal's a knife, better knife than the base one you start with, but we did get a blueprint for a much better knife. There are knives and swords. Swords hit harder, but are slower to use. Also have some sort of area attacks. And a Karpov 38 is a much faster shooting rifle. All right.
Back again.
Yes.
Like the sour tang of rancid wine.
Your vengeance is complete.
It's over then. Good. Did they deserve to die? Who knows? But the deed is done regardless.
Yes, it is. What did they do to you?
Oh, they took me to a bar. Got me drunk on spice beer and plied me with samuta. When the battle started, I could barely walk.
So, they were your drinking partners?
Aye. Killing them changes nothing of who I am. But sour wine and sour vengeance are both to my tastes. Now shut your mouth and let me train you. I'd swear you're a fully trained trooper pulling one over on me. Right, I can't figure out the angle on such a scam. Who are you? Nah, I don't want to know.
Goodbye. Unlocks the trooper skill tree. So, skills. Trooper is now unlocked. We want the Shigawire Claw, as it is too good to not want, actually. It's that good. And we're going to go ahead and put that in our second place. We now have access to the Shigawire Claw and its awesomeness. We will deliver the items, the Holtzman amplifier. They want micro sandwich fiber, and EMF generators, which I have because we got them from the caves. More XP, more money. There are no more contracts available. Imperial Testing Station number 2 awaits us. But first, we gotta go home. Home is where you wear your hat. I feel so break up, I want to go home. Ow. Fremen finds contract completed. Oh, didn't mean to fall that far. That was not a clever move on my part. One thing I do generally like to do with the second house, you'll get a quest to build a second house in the second area once you finish out the first area, is to build close to a patch of water-sucking plants. First, because it does allow you to emergency hydrate like that. But second, once you get the actual harvesting ability and tool, it provides a constant source of water basically before every day starts. Oh, and if you want to see the sugar wire claw in action, looks a little bit like that. I didn't grab anything at the top because, well, didn't need to. I need to come in here. Honey, I'm home. Let's deposit our blood in there. All right, that's the scavenger rags, the Karpov 38, and the Kinjal. We must have looted a piece. Yeah, we looted a piece of scavenger gear. Scavenger pants, scavenger boots, scavenger hood, scavenger gloves. We'll make the scavenger chest piece too. Let's pick up the leftover copper. And we could use a second storage unit. Long button. Rotate. Let's see. Copper ore. Fuel cells. There's a really cool feature. You'll note we have granite in our bags, and there is granite in here. If you walk up to a storage unit and hit F for quick deposit, anything that you have in your inventory and you have a stack in the container, it will move it from your inventory to the container. So that just moved salvaged metal, granite, and a small vehicle cell, because I already had those in there. let us learn that recipe. All right, that finished up. We have now better armor, which means the crappy armor, the makeshift stuff, we don't need anymore. To show you the difference, this is our still suit, 11 armor, 3 heat protection. This has 24 armor, 0.1 heat protection. But it does have lower stamina cost and a higher blade mitigation. So this is better than the makeshift stuff. We don't need the makeshift stuff anymore. We do not have the salvaging station yet. Not that the makeshift stuff would be worth it, because all we'd get out is a little bit of fiber. So we're just going to drop the makeshift armor outside of our house, where it's in that little box, and it will despawn in a little while, because we've got better armor on us. We should probably make some light darts. We can probably remove some of the plant fiber as well. Let's splint out 200 of it. We're going to need, okay, well, we can just use it over here. Light darts. Makes 30 each. All right, we need to fabricate a Karpov 38 and a Kinjal. Karpov 38. We don't have enough what for the Kinjal? We need more copper ingots. Copper ingots. All right, we've got darts. We're making, have made the Kinjal, or the Karpov. Now we need to make the Kinjal. And the Karpov will replace, the Karpov will replace the pistol. Pistol does 7.2. The Karpov does 7.6 per shot. It shoots a lot faster. Has better range. It's just better in every imaginable way. We can drop those off into another storage, I guess. That and that and that. All right, we have the Kinjal.
I have crossed the Vermilius Gap, Off-Worlder, and I still haven't shaken my unwanted followers. I'm afraid I must delay our reunion until, well, I fear drastic measures might be required. But fear not, Off-Worlder. You've come this far alone. I'm impressed. You're a long way from that mewling mauler I dragged from the wreckage of the Proteus.
That's not nice.
Listen, you'll need a vehicle to cross the sands to the Paranorth and reach the gap. But vehicles require components that aren't created here on Arrakis. Arrakis has a long history, Off-Worlder. More than you might imagine. Some things, like the Imperial testing stations, contain echoes of the past. But more importantly, they contain stockpiles of components you'll need. Just be careful. Those old ruins are a beacon for all kinds of scum.
Hey, that's not nice. You don't have to call them out like that. Scum. Just, it's a little rude. I'm going to make the Hajra. I have enough of the spice-infused copper dust to make either the Leader John or the knife. Research. We've got 16 intel. Can we... No, we can't. Oh, we'd have to spend 3 more intel to unlock that. Is there anything else we can spend intel on? No. No, there is not. So, we're going to make the leader, John. Technically, it's a liter and a half, John. Yeah, the Caliph's drinker requires 2, and we only have 1. Not that I'm bitter. His default value is bitter, boys and girls. So we can now extract the water from the water storage. That's a follow. Slayer Delano. I have a spiel. Here it comes. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. I am doing okay. I'm doing adequately well. I will now move water from the blood purifier into my liter, John, and I now have carrying around about half a liter of water. So I mentioned next up would be the Imperial Testing Station. So it's here, and it is also here where the NPC is that you can get training for planetologist. And this is mostly buffs. Buffs to things like vehicle repair or mining, climbing, cutter ray mining. So a lot of buffs for the most part here. So not much in the way of combat stuff. However, the Imperial testing station is some pretty serious business. It's a tough piece of early content for sure. Okay, we have only the necessaries we are carrying. That's good. Now, let me grab some more. I am seeing chat. Yep, I am seeing Twitch chat, and that includes you. We will extract the water. We don't want to drink blood. Let's see. We need more dew sucking. It's not my favorite game, but it is a game I enjoy a lot. I haven't played it for a couple of months. But it seems like with the free play event, it's a good time. A friend of mine is playing for the first time. I streamed it a bunch when it first came out. And given that it's a free weekend, if you are the kind of person who enjoys a survival or survival crafting type game, and you haven't tried it, I would suggest it because free is a really good price. So it's about 860 meters away, so that's about half a mile.
And in there, we will get some of the materials we'll need, and quest progression to the point where we will be able to make our speeder and prepare for the trip to the main map. There are, in essence, sort of 3 maps. There's this starting area, Haga Basin South, where you'll spend the first few hours of the game. This is Haga Basin South, and then you'll drive north to about this area, and this whole area of the map then will open up. The third map is the deep desert map, which includes half of it's PvE and half of it is PvP enabled. All right, now I'm going to show you the difference between the Karpov rifle and the pistol we were using earlier. That's the difference. But the knee still works, you know. The knee still works. All right. So I will grab the quest. Are you sure about that, lady? I don't know if that was a good idea. It seemed like a poor idea to me, but I don't want to take away her agency. She should be allowed to make her own choices in life and death. So we will talk to the NPC. Oh, can we get into the shade? Yay, shade. And hydration. Oh, I play all kinds of games. I have played like 100 different games on stream. My most played games are Guild Wars 2. Played a lot of Path of Exile, City of Heroes. Mostly RPGs, MMORPGs, ARPGs, and I've gotten into the survival crafting genre in the last year or two. Good morning, Fizbic. So we need to track down the NPC here and get the quest from him. And that will open up the planetologist skill tree. So there are 3 things we need to get, basically 3 quest items we need to get from inside the Imperial testing station. Now, in the lore, the Imperial testing stations were a bunch of testing stations set up a long time ago. And they have materials that we can
Watch your
use
step, stranger.
for crafting and stuff.
Those plants are hard to grow out here, and harder to replace. No, you don't look like the scrap rats that swarm around the place, and you don't look like one of the crazies from the lab. So what brings you here?
I'm just exploring the desert, man.
Exploring the desert sounds like the kind of thing old Pardo Kynes used to do. His exploits here on Arrakis were legendary back on Kaitane.
Who are you?
Derek Chinara, planetologist, botanist, and political
I've been streaming
exile,
for
I'm afraid.
6.5
I've been
years.
stuck out
A little
here
over
for a
6
while.
years.
I learned the hard way. Never say the wrong thing to someone from Kaitane.
Excellent advice, but a terrible thing to learn the hard way.
Cyprian Io, I loathe that name. Barely a planetologist
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
all.
I would like to learn
think,
from you.
I would gladly teach you. But there is something I must do. Perhaps we can
6
help
years.
each other out.
He
You look
needs
like
me
some-
to
that's
get
easy.
something
Somewhere in the state, be careful. The people.
from inside the testing station. Whoop. Don't want to fall. Oh, and I fell. I say, don't want to fall. I immediately fall. Don't want to fall. All right. No guys are waiting for us outside the testing station. But inside the testing station, lots of guys are waiting for us. I do have emojis. If this is a commercial solicitation, you can leave now. Thank you. I am not interested in employing someone to give me emojis and help me make my channel more attractive to people. Yeah, you can leave now. Bye. Give me a sec, guys. He's gone. I have no patience for people who pretend to be interested in what I'm doing and then start talking about how they'd like to sell me their services. Yep. Oh, yeah. It doesn't take long streaming to recognize if they say, hi, love what you're doing, contact me, here's my Discord name. That's always a complete giveaway. If they're overly effusive and friendly, that's usually, not always, but usually
finding that corpse with the Telexis
a giveaway.
I don't trust him. Keep an eye out next time you're out on a salvage run. If he starts acting weird, dart him.
Water. I will drink. I had a friend stream a game from his PS5 because he couldn't stream on Discord, and there were like multiple per hour coming in trying to sell their services. Yeah, I don't get that. I think I would have to have a higher viewer count to regularly get the offering of services, but the Discord stuff, contact me on Discord, is pretty constant, roughly one a day, maybe, every other day.
Welcome to Desert Botanical Testing Station number 2.
But yeah, I can see it coming. That guy, I thought it was coming really early, and then yep, there it
To
was.
find or engineer botanical species capable of thriving in the extremely arid a true challenge, as I'm sure any visitor who has traveled through the barren rocks and sand will agree. Our first task has been the installation and testing of root trap units, capable of reclaiming moisture from the atmosphere.
And I just have no patience for it anymore. It's so cynical and so practiced. They can't even, spend a couple of days sticking their head in for a couple minutes every couple of days before they come up with it. No, it's got to be fast. And obviously, it's complete and utter bullshit how much they love your stream. My bags are full. Well, my blood bags are full anyway. Occasionally I'll get someone saying, they come in and they say, hey, I notice you don't have much stuff. I can offer you some services if you're interested. If they actually act like a human being, I can respect that. That doesn't get a ban. I tell them politely, I appreciate the fact that you treat me like a human being, but I am not interested. And generally they will accept that because the actual people you might want to do business with.
I thought I could trust Juice. But I know now that he's part of the plot, eh? I heard the worms out in the desert whispering to him last night, and the bastard whispered back. I didn't think they're all a league against me. All of them. Huh? But they won't get me if I get them first.
Totally not crazy or anything, by the way. Now you'll note I'm going to be pretty efficient here because I have done this so many times. It's not unusual for me to farm this for materials because it's really fast and straightforward. Admittedly cringed a bit seeing them coming in. Like the approach of just saying outright you're not interested in kicking them out quick. Yeah. It took me a while. Now I tend to get angry about it. And that makes it a whole lot easier. Because they come in with bullshit immediately. How much they like this stream. They think I'm cool and doing great work. It's so fake that it just makes me mad. Once I'm mad, it's really easy for me to just give them the boot. Now you'll notice I go through these bandages pretty quick because I want to top off when I can. There's always 3 or 4 mobs in here. But a bad fight can snowball. Haha, we're on Arrakis. There are no snowballs. A bad fight can snowball pretty quick. So far I am cool, and you don't want anything. Well, you want me to continue to be cool, or at least entertaining. I do this for fun. So I'm not trying to get rich and famous doing this. So I do this for fun. The things I enjoy are interacting with people while I play, and so...
Don't sleep. That's when they come for you. Low on guards. Don't sleep. They're watching.
Do we have the...
Find a knife. Or maybe a hammer. Either would be good, but both is better.
So
just don't sleep.
For me,
don't sleep.
I want to encourage the community to interact because that's fun for me. Aha! You see? Sometimes somebody else comes in. Come on, you took a shot at me, dude. Oh, multiples. So I enjoy interacting with the people, but I'm not doing it for engagement purposes so that you subscribe. Believe me, your subscriptions, give them to a young streamer who you find cool and interesting who's trying to make it. What I want from other people who hang out here is for them to have a good time so that I can have a good time. I think I'm a better streamer. I think my streams are better when I have an engaged, chat. And that's you guys. That's what I hope for and want from you guys. Stream seems to be a little jumpy for you. Anyone else? If anyone else is seeing that, please do let me know in the chat. There's usually 2 people in here, but they may have been the ones who came running upstairs to get shot. Working well for you. Thank you.
Beneath the hill where the fox runs lightly, a dappled sun shines brightly. Where the fox runs lightly. You can't hide from me, little bird. Where are you? Beneath the hill in the fennel brake. I spy my
Did we get everything? I think we did.
You cannot wake.
No.
Go away. Go away. There's a little bird. Gotcha.
People here seem to have gone a little bit crazy, which is fine. I'm not knocking crazy. It's a lifestyle choice. I am fortunate in that I'm not trying to make a living at this. It makes playing games more fun for me. That's my only objective. Usually 2 more in here. And then we have an actually difficult fight. More water, please. You have to find these bands to open doors. Inside Imperial testing stations and the like. A lot of times you'll run into pentashield doors you can't get through until you have the right key. Also note there are things like this, which is, it's not a secret door, it's just not an obvious door. One thing to look for is you'll note up at the top, 23 meters, that's a quest object, and that's an indicator that there was something in here. If you didn't know, you would be looking for that indicator. You'd come to this wall and you'd see the light, hopefully, and get close enough to see that you can activate it. I hear somebody out there. Three of them? What the heck is up with that? Wasn't expecting that. That's not usual. That's the phone ringing. That will be a scam or fraud caller. It doesn't just happen on Discord. It happens on the phone, too. I'm going to mute for a second so you don't have to listen to it. They hung up, as usual. Okay, now we have the real fight coming up. We now also have a passive suspensor belt, which is good. That means we can now leap off tall places and it will automatically slow our fall. You can fall far enough that it'll run out of power and you'll then fall the rest of the way without the suspensor, and that will kill you. All right, there's a guy in here who has a shield. This is the first sort of shielded opponent you're likely to face. Shields will stop bullets for a very, very long time. Essentially, you kind of have to kill most shielded enemies with a knife or sword. They can be very, very dangerous, and this is the first one you're likely to run into. Note, I have the Shigawire Claw and the Knee Strike as abilities. The Shigawire Claw isn't really a combat skill, but it will yoink a person to you or stun them briefly if they're in front of you, giving you a chance for extra attacks. So it's not, strictly speaking, a combat skill, but it does have its uses in combat. And the tweedling noise you heard was the heavy attack. That's holding down the left mouse instead of just clicking it. And that makes a low, slow attack to get through the shields and does extra damage. Dune's going well. Just about to finish the first Imperial testing station. There's another one that you get a quest for when you get to the second map area that I recommend waiting a good long time to do, as it is extremely difficult. And to my mind, really shouldn't show up that early because it is so difficult. And it shows up really early in the game. Okay, we pick up the ID band. We can now get through the purple door. We have the parts we need to make the sand bike. We're on looking for a streamer with Dune drops. Went with the old man gamer tag. I'm not sure. Are the drops... I'm not sure if the drops are for affiliated streamers only, streamers who have opened a relationship with Funcom, or if it's everybody. Oh, okay. Yeah, if the drops are enabled for everybody, then they certainly should be here. Give me one sec. Yeah, it should be on the drops, because I have 2 drops showing for me. So my assumption, drops should be available here as well.
Welcome to Desert Botanical Testing Station number.
And now we're back to where we came in. But one more door will be open now because we have the purple access. Well, you are certainly welcome here. Old men gamers, we gotta stick together. And the most practical way for us to stick together would be super glue, but second might be Twitch. Same haircut and a gray beard as well. Yeah. Haircut. Rough Rider _TM has followed, and you get a heartfelt, actual, real spiel, unlike the guy I had to ban earlier. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. Well, I mean, it would allow us to stick together. At least until someone came up with, I believe it's what, nail polish remover will dissolve the cyanoacrylate superglue. So we have finished the Imperial testing station. Gotten all the goodies. We'll return, we'll cash in the quests, we'll make ourselves our first sand bike, and then we'll be heading north into the major full map area. Where I will probably take a break, but that's probably 20 minutes from now. I almost forgot. I have to go back to Derek and turn in the quest. Yep, he's 110 meters. He's above me, but you know what I've got now? The Shigawire Claw. Yeah. So once again, I'll keep repeating this because I think it's important. Anyone else interested in the game should not choose the Trooper as the first class choice, because Trooper unlocks 2 to 4 hours into the game. It was about an hour and a half for me because I've done it many times before. So there's no reason to hurry and get Trooper first when you can get Trooper a couple of hours in and have access to 2 skill trees instead of just 1. The other classes eventually will be available, but they're a lot more time-consuming and further into the game before they unlock. Eventually, you'll have access to all 4 trees, plus the extra tree that Derek here unlocks of Planetologist. Your favorite methods of travel is the Shigawire and full suspensor? Yeah. Well, you can cover an enormous amount of space with that, especially if you've got extended power on your suspensor. Someone mentioned earlier that they thought that a jetpack would be a good addition. And I said, basically, that's in the game with the Shigawire, claw, and a suspensor belt. You launch yourself and just go. I brought you the manifest.
You have? That's incredible.
I'm pretty incredible, Derek.
Down there would keep me stuck here forever.
Yeah, it is wonderful. In essence a jetpack.
Say what you will about the old empire, but they knew how to keep a record.
I believe you offered to teach me something about planetary ecology.
Yes, of course. I haven't forgotten. Pay attention. Life, all life, is in the service of life.
Thanks, Derek.
There. Though I must confess, I wasn't expecting such an apt pupil. It was more like you were remembering than learning. Odd.
Odd. Thanks, Derek. Go to skills. You'll now see we have our starting skill of Swordmaster. We have Trooper that we unlocked earlier, and now Planetologist. Bene Gesserit and Mentat will take a significant amount more time. You can get the first tier of Mentat pretty quick. But Bene Gesserit is significantly more work. But we do have access to here. It has opened up the first bottom tier of stuff. The cutter ray mining, an additional 10% from vehicle and 2% from handheld. Not a big deal, but, might as well start with something. You can really launch yourself once you get the timing down. Yeah, I have seen some people cover enormous amounts of space. Basically launching themselves all the way from Haga Basin south to the trade post, whose name eludes me, in Haga Basin north. The first one. Dew gathering. Well, we don't have the Dew Reaper yet, so we can hold on to that. Let's unlock the research schematics for the sand bike. All right, we need to deliver the poison snooper. We now have, I mentioned it earlier, the passive suspensor belt, which means that we can fall, and the little blue glow you just saw is basically the suspensor belt kicking in and automatically preventing us from dying. It is a huge quality of life improvement. Combined with the Shigawire, your ability to move around the map has increased by an order of magnitude. We'll have the bike shortly, and that will speed up the horizontal travel times by a bunch. They do a good job, I think, in sort of staging your ability to move throughout the world, from running to running with the Shigawire and the suspensor belt, providing a lot more flexibility, to the sand bike, and eventually the ornithopter. And while they have put in a lot of work to have things feel appropriate for the setting, or what we know from the books and or movies. They also do embrace the fact that it's a game. And so, for instance, you can, in essence, put your speed bike or your basic recon thopter into what amounts to a bag, so that it functions like the mounts you're used to from, MMOs and the like. So they aim for a consistency with the books and movies, a logical consistency, but they're not afraid to make certain sacrifices because it's a goddamn game. All right, first, deliver the item. Automated poison snooper. And the bike building. Right, we need to make those parts. So we have to make our own goodies for ourselves, and I don't think we got any sand bike parts as drops. You can randomly get sand bike drops out of the the testing station. I didn't. We also did get the Emperor's Wings, which is another schematic. That's for a more active suspensor belt, but for the early part of the game, I prefer the passive suspensor belt, actually. You will note that sort of rock with a big sort of hammer head. That's called the hammer, logically. And east of that is where we'll be headed. But for the crossing itself, I find the hammer is a good aiming point, generally speaking. You do not want to dawdle once you start making your crossing. All right. We'll drop off the extra stuffs we don't need. We did get copper infused. We did get copper infused spice dust. Spice infused copper dust. Not copper infused spice dust. Quick deposit. All right. What did we empty out that we didn't want to empty out? Because I always do that. We want to keep some plant fiber for bandages. We'll drop off the servox and capacitors. And these things we'll eventually want to salvage. Of course. All right, we need to build the sand bike parts. So, a PSU, 3 treads, and an engine. And an engine. And a chassis. And we need more materials for the hull. That's not enough. We're going to need more copper, right? Copper was the thing we were short on. For the hull, we need 4 more copper ingots. Hey! Look, guys! Copper! What were the odds? We definitely want to deposit the water, extract the water, sorry, into our leader John and deposit the blood we're carrying. That is the chassis, I think. No, let it finish. Engine, treads, PSU. Chassis, and we need the hull. Right? Yes. That was a sand blow somewhere. When you hear a kaboom and your screen shakes like that, somewhere a spice blow has occurred. Sand blow, I think I said. Spice blow. All right. All right, we have fabricated all the parts, but we need the tool for putting the parts together. Research the small chemical factory for the fuel cell. I may need to track down some more copper. I need more copper. I need a lot more copper, actually. Well, maybe not a lot, but I need a good chunk more copper, so. We're going to run around looking for copper for a bit. Did I not? I thought I put... Yeah, I did park myself right under a copper node. But I need a lot of copper. It was like, I had like 8 and I needed like 45. So, a lot of copper. I'm also going to need to make like 2 treads and a PSU or something like that for a quest as well. So once I finish making my stuff, I'm not done. Let's take a quick sip of water from our catch pockets in our still suit. Couple more ore nodes here. Probably is going to give us enough. There he is, Shai Halud. Highest level in this game so far, about 140, a little over 140. I'd gotten to the point where I'd gotten to the point where realistically I'd gotten everything I wanted out of the non-PvP areas, in essence. And I did a little bit of stuff in the deep desert, but not a bunch. And it just felt like the curve had gotten very, very steep for, getting where or I'm going the wrong way. The curve had gotten very, very steep for progressing. And I was looking at just a whole lot more grinding. And so I have like characters on 5, now 6 servers because I enjoy the part of the game basically up to about that point. The amount of grind required to move into the last tier of stuff just seems really imposing. We needed a buttload more copper, please. Constructor and rack up that small chemical refinery. Right. Well, it'll fit in there. And once we get all the copper, I guess it won't even let you place it if you don't have the mats. That's interesting. Well, it's going to take it a sec. I'm going to AFK for a minute and take care of some natural functions. Grab another Coke. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Ta-da. We're almost there, guys. I'm probably going to need more copper because I'm going to need to make an engine in 3 treads for a quest as well. 5 to go. 4. Two to go, guys. We're almost there. We're almost free. Not really. Make a... Oh, do I have to... I know. I put it in backwards. fabricate a welding torch Mark 1. And welding wire. Funny thing is, I didn't actually need the chemical refinery, but they make you want to make it. Thank you. I forget that occasionally, and that's like 2 days out of 3, so now I feel shame. I don't feel too bad about forgetting about it occasionally, but like twice in 3 days? Ugh. Come on, Lens, get your shit together. All right, I'll get my shit together. Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. I will accept that blame. I think it's a really solid game. If it's the kind of game that you like, you know, the survival crafting genre, it's really well done. All right, and now we're putting our vehicle together. Let's see, the ankle bone connected to the thigh bone? No, that doesn't make sense. The PSU, there we go. Refuel the sand bike. Well, we have in our possession right now a small vehicle fuel cell. Go here, go there. And talk to me, Zantara.
That's it, Offworlder. You're ready. I'm waiting at Mirzabar. That's the great rock formation that looks like a giant hammer.
Yeah, I agree,
Be
Rough
careful.
Rider.
Vehicles are fast, but nothing can outrun Shai Halud. You can only hope to get between safe areas more quickly.
They've done a good job.
I'll see you soon.
All right, they need a sand bike engine, Mark 1. That we can make. And I think 2 treads, if memory serves. The quest management in the game is something that's not good, though. While I've been mostly praising the game, I will say that that is crappy. Fabricate a sand bike. Travel to the trade post. Moving on. It's here. Scrap metal. Yes, 2 treads. Wanting to see a decent game based on the Dune books. If you like board games, there's an implementation of one of the Dune board games called Dune Imperium. And it's quite good, but it is a board game. So if you're not into the board game mechanics, it has a solo play mode as well, which is all I've played. There's also Spice Wars, which Funcom licensed out, is sort of a real-time strategy game, but not like a classic RTS where APMs are so drastically important. And that one's pretty good too. Treads, we need 2. Do I only have the materials for 1? I only have the materials for 1. Any of the copper nearby respawned? It has respawned, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, come on. I am not an RTS game guy either. The RTS elements were relatively small, at least in my opinion. It was much more strategic, and it had some interesting subsystems for things like agents and placing agents and making discoveries and stuff. So I would describe it as RTS adjacent. You know, if you can watch video of somebody playing it, if you're a Dune fan, I think it would be worth at least watching the video of someone playing it to see what parts of the RTS are there and what parts are sort of other game systems, because it's definitely not a pure RTS. I need one more, right? Right. One more tread. Yeah, I was never any good at RTSs. My APM are not up to the task. All right. So I think we now have the parts we need to turn in. Yeah, we should, at least. Engine and 2 treads. That's that. We can get the vehicle backup tool. We want the vehicle backup tool in the worst possible way. You might wonder, what's the big deal about the vehicle backup tool? And that's a reasonable request. In essence, it functions as a pocket dimension that you drop your vehicle into. So you bust it out, and like that. Presto! And then when you want to bring it back out, again, presto! Sand bike is back, boys and girls. I think we actually want to go up there. Also, the sand bike has a very interesting function in that you can drive it off a cliff, plummet to what obviously should be a very quick and painful death, and not die. Basically, it's completely resistant to that. It just bounces around a little, and then you and it are fine. It doesn't even take any damage. Again, that's one of those things where, you know, sometimes you want realism, and sometimes you just got to realize it's a game. Bike building. Take that. And those. Yeah, vehicle damage would have gotten real ugly, especially when you start looking at things like the rift. You have what it takes. I have something to take to Levenbrech Maxim Kazmir. I need to talk to Anton Tolliver and take some stuff. I don't think I have to talk to the guy here, though, do I? I don't think so. I think I just...
You keep coming back
I'm
like
supposed
this.
to... I do.
Indeed.
To take a package to the Anvil. I do have to talk to this guy to get the package. Right. First time you drove a bike off the edge of the top of the rift was exciting. Yeah. I think my first discovery of the mechanic, or real sort of acknowledgement of the mechanic, was driving around the outside of the rift and getting up to a pretty good speed and not seeing the edge of the cliff in time and braking and going, no! And then, ooh, plummeting down and then bonk, bonk, bonk. And I'm going, wait, no damage? No harm, no foul? Did the panic bail, almost died, but the bike ended up on a platform, one level up. Yeah. The first time was quite shocking. My assumption was, oh, I'm dead and my bike is destroyed. Whee! Honey, I'm home. Okay, so among the rewards are the Sandbike Inventory Unit and the Booster. You can have one of these. Since I'm about to move, I'm going to want the Sandbike Inventory Unit. And you'll note the red is showing that that's where the booster would go, but you can only have one of them attached at a time. Okay, let's see. Over here. What time is it? Okay, I think I'm going to take a break right here. I should be back in about 2 hours. And what I will do is I will pack up, I will deconstruct everything in my house except for this and probably one storage unit to hold stuff I'm leaving behind. I'll open up the house here to anyone who wants it eventually. So I will deconstruct everything. I will put components into my bags and the storage for my vehicle. I will drive over to about here, or possibly here. I think here. And then I will head north. This is where we have to go. But the crossing north, you want to make it basically as quickly as possible from a northern point here to Solid Rock here, so that Shai-Hulud isn't crapping out your remains tomorrow. So that is what I'm going to do when I come back in about 2 hours. I'm going to load up the bike and myself. I'm going to take off across. I'm going to go to the Anvil trade post, talk to Maxim, build a second house. Then you basically remove this sub-fief console from afar, and the house will then, I believe, be open to anyone. So any of the extra stuff I'm not taking with me. So like extra things like the suspensor belts will be available for anyone to take if another low-level character comes around. And we'll head north, and then we will continue with the story and etc. So, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. As always, I am very, very appreciative. I will be back in about 2 hours, a little bit less than 2 hours. I'm going to take a break, get up and stretch, walk around, have dinner, and back in 2 hours. Again, thanks for hanging out, guys. As always, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, you'll see me soon. Back in 2 hours with more Dune Awakening. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, and ciao for now. Back in 2. Bye, guys.